Optimus Prime is going to kill Bumblebee. Some people think that he's going to really just destroy him. What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex Yu, and you're watching The Road to TF5. This is just a web series we're talking about Transformers last night. This is episode number 98, and I want to say happy birthday to Craig Isaiah, Gino, and Zed Anthony 13. Happy birthday to all y'all. Hope you have a good one. Thank you for being part of the Ragin Nation. Now, in this episode, what we're going to talk about is that poster. I'm sure you guys have now seen the new poster for Transformers last night. We're going to talk about that. Now, this is the second poster that came out. The first one was this really giant wide banner which had Optimus Prime with the sword facing off against a three-headed dragon. And then there was like a satellite type of thing in the background and also a sub diving down deep to what appears to be a Cybertronian spaceship or submarine or something like that. But anyways, that was the first poster. Now we're getting the second poster. It's here and it looks great. So we're going to talk about that because it actually gives away a number of things, or actually it shows a number of things which I think are quite key to what takes place in the film. So let us take a look at it. Wow, what a beautiful, beautiful poster. First of all, let's take a look at the obvious. It says, rethink your heroes. Obviously, it's suggesting that you might think of Optimus Prime as a hero, but based on what we saw on the very first trailer for Transformers last night, he's no hero. He is actually under some kind of evil control, and by evil, I mean Optimus Prime. Now, Optimus Prime was already suggested to be evil when Michael Bay first posted a photo of his face which had purple eyes, and it suggested that he was going to turn evil. Perhaps Dark Energon, perhaps mind control, perhaps something where he can't control himself, because in the trailer he did say, "Forgive me," right before he was about to stab Bumblebee. Now let's take a look at the poster once again. Optimus Prime in his knight armor mode, purple eyes, obviously looking very, very evil, staring down at what appears to be his fallen opponent. And if you take a close look right where the rocks are on the bottom right, that's Bumblebee right there. You see a little bit of black and yellow. That looks like Bumblebee's arm, and it looks like Optimus Prime has just taken out Bumblebee. You know what? I don't believe Bumblebee's dead. I don't think Bumblebee's going to die, but I think that Bumblebee's going to be very close to dying. The trailer really suggests that there's going to be a face-off with Bumblebee and Optimus Prime. It's going to be quite a conflicted battle, because Optimus Prime can't control himself, but most of him will be under control, or I guess physical control, from something else which makes him want to fight his own team, namely Bumblebee. And Bumblebee looks like he's gonna take quite a beating, like a very, very brutal beating. He's already on the ground, so some would think that Optimus Prime is gonna kill Bumblebee. Some people think that he's gonna really just destroy him. I think that he's just going to take him out so much to the point where he's almost dead. I don't think he's gonna kill him off. Now, there's two reasons for that, because there's a Bumblebee spin-off film, but we can't guarantee that the Bumblebee spin-off film is actually a direct follow-up to this film, to Transformers Last Night. We can't guarantee that. There's no way to even know that yet. I mean, the Bumblebee spin-off film could be even a prequel, or something that takes place before all the events of all 5 films that are out, or about to be out. So we don't know for sure what the Bumblebee spin-off film is going to be about. So it could take place at any point in time in the cinematic universe. So let's not automatically assume that it's going to take place immediately after the events of Transformers Last Night. Now, another reason why I don't think that Bumblebee is going to die is because, do you remember what happened when in 1986 they killed off Optimus Prime? A lot of kids were traumatized. A lot of kids were really, really sad about it, and it made the parents complain to Hasbro. they would be like, what the hell, man? What the hell? Why'd you have to kill off the Optimus Prime? Now my son won't come out of his room for weeks and days or months or whatever, right? So they're not going to kill off Bumblebee. Bumblebee is actually a fan favorite amongst a lot of little kids. So that's not happening at all. Okay, I just think that Bumblebee is going to be in grave danger, and this is just a teaser for what's to come. But it doesn't actually mean that he's going to die. I really don't think he's going to die. If he does die, I will be very, very shocked. But I was reading some comments. A lot of people are saying that this really opens the door for Hot Rod. Maybe if Bumblebee is killed, this opens the door for Hot Rod to be the new leader or something like that. Because right now, Bumblebee is the second in command. So that's what's going on there. So we got the obvious out of the way. Bumblebee has fallen, and Optimus Prime is the one that took him out. He's carrying the sword that he used in Transformers Age of Extinction. Now let's take a look at the background. There's something in the water, and that appears to be that submerged Cybertronian spaceship that is crash-landed in the water, and it's rising up. It rose up, and that's where I believe that this big climatic battle takes place, because if you remember in the trailer, that environment that surrounds them, where that fight takes place between Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, it's a very, very, I wouldn't say organic looking, but it definitely is very alien-like. It's definitely not an Earth setting, so it looks like that the battle starts off on top of that ship and ends up on the rocks, like the surface area on Earth. So that's a suggestion. Now it is on fire. Like, it does look like that things are blowing up. So it's a I imagine that if this was a transformer, like an evil Decepticon, like a giant one, then they just destroyed it. They just destroyed it. It's down, and then they had a fight on top of it while it's still down. So that's what's going on there. Now the other thing that is happening is, of course, what appears to be, and I'm going to call it Cybertron. It looks like Cybertron is in the air. It's floating around in Earth's atmosphere, and it looks like bits and pieces of Cybertron. And which makes sense, because at the end of the events of Transformers Dark of the Moon, like, they were trying to transport Cybertron into Earth, but actually, like, once the pillars were shut off, it looks like parts of it broke off. So only actually a portion of Cybertron ended up close to planet Earth, where the rest of it is somewhere else. So this could be that somewhere else. Like, little bits of Cybertron is making its way to Earth, and this is what it is. Like, what purpose it serves in this actual story, I really, really don't know. We're going to find out later on, but I'm sure it's a significant part of the story. And maybe it has to do with maybe bringing more Cybertronians to Earth, terraforming it, or cyberforming it, or taking over the planet, because these films are always about, an invasion, taking over Earth, right? So it's something that Anthony Hopkins suggested, that they were trying to understand why they're always coming here. There's a reason for that. Maybe planet Earth has a source of energy on that they don't know about, and maybe that's going to be talked about. I think there's going to be a lot of lore going to be addressed in Transformers: The Last Night. After all, it is the official opening film for the Transformers Cinematic Universe. So that's what's going on. So anyways, I just wanted to take a moment to talk about this poster. A photo is worth 1,000 words, hundreds of words. There's a lot going on here. Even if it's really just Optimus Prime and Bumblebee and some stuff in the background, it really tells you a lot about what could possibly happen in the story. So that's what I think is those are my theories about what this image represents. All right. Now, speaking of the Transformers Cinematic Universe and Transformers lore, I just want to take a moment to talk about, or rather comment on some of these comments that producer Lorenzo de Bonaventura made with regards to the Transformers Cinematic Universe, and specifically, where are they adapting all these ideas from? Because, a lot of these films actually have ideas inspired from all different types of sources, from specifically mostly from G1 cartoons, but still they also adapted from other sources, not just G1, but they could be like from Beast Wars or Robots in Disguise or the comics or the video games or something like that. So he made a comment talking about that, and he says that with regards to the lore and the mythologies, he says, Hasbro put together some sort of Bible of all the mythologies that have been put forward, and they put it into one thing. And some of the comic book doesn't fit exactly with the TV shows and the movies, so there were a few rough edges we had to round off. So that tells you that they did take from the TV shows, like the cartoons, they did take from the comic books, and a lot of that universe is really, really huge. Like, it's really expanded, it's really vast, so they did borrow elements from various sources. Moving on, he says, but now with the 5th movie coming, there's a lot of mythology that we've established as well. So what we did was really build all 3 of the things into one very large document, one very large world. And by three of the things, he's talking about of course, the cartoons, the comics, the movies. After all, the movies now has its own lore, as it has been established in the last 4 films. So now they're taking all those properties together and trying to mold something into that, and that is this one thing, which is one very large world. So this is really just the beginning of something much larger. Now, with regards to the like, not only where they took the source material from, but also where the Transformers stories can go, he made a comment about the fact that it doesn't necessarily have to exist in Earth-based present time. It doesn't have to. It can actually go in any part of the world or any period in time, because Transformers have existed as beings for millions of years. I mean, we really don't know, but like, they existed even during dinosaur times, the Jurassic, Cretaceous, Mesozoic, all those eras, right? So let's just see what he's had to say about that. Well, the animated movie is not Earth-based. That's a Cybertron-based movie. I think it's conceivable, but I think all of us involved, it's sort of instinctive to keep it relatable. You need an Earth relationship to it. It's not necessary, but I think we like it. Now, he's, of course, referring to the Cybertron-based CG animated film, which is tentatively titled Transformers 1. And what that is something that the fans have wanted for a very, very long time, and that is a Transformers film that takes place entirely on Cybertron. It's supposed to be a prequel, and it's supposed to have events which happen right before all the events of the very first Transformers film, which came out in 2007. So he does mention that it's not entirely Earth-based, but having it Earth-based is something that they like doing because it really helps the audience connect with that. And even though the Cybertron prequel still is a CG animated, and completely taking place in Cybertron, there still might be that Earth element to keep it relatable. Now, the last comment that he made was talking about time periods, and he says, you could do different time periods. For sure, you could do that. And we've examined, you could easily make an argument that in Roman times, you know what I mean? That seems like a good period. Now, he's not necessarily suggesting that there's going to be a Transformers film that takes place in Roman times. He's suggesting that it doesn't necessarily have to take place not only on Earth, but also not only during modern times. After all, Transformers Age of Extinction has a huge portion of it that takes place during medieval times. And then there's another sequence that takes place during World War II. So they could really, really expand the universe based on Earth's very own real-life timeline. They could have it take place anywhere. But I think the most interesting times really were, of course, the early 1900s, and in which case they're using the World War II for that backdrop, and also medieval times. I think that backdrop and that time period is very, very interesting because that's where a lot of fantasy takes place. A lot of fantasy elements take place during that time, from swords and sorcerers to dragons to wizards. All that sort of thing combined with Transformers can make for a very, very interesting story. And Transformers Last Night looks like it's going to be that film that gives us a little bit of everything. And it really opens the door to expand the mythology and the lore. It doesn't just keep it like during present day like the last couple of films did. Now it shows us that they're not limited to present day and on Earth. They can do anything they want, and I like the direction where they're going because they they essentially have the ability to create this really expansive cinematic universe. And I'm looking forward to what they're going to do with this, because after all, they've kept it in modern day for the last 4 films, and by doing that, we have something very, very formulaic and something that just seems rehashed and redone over and over and over again. It's the same formula. Transformers Last Night is finally the time they get to do something different. Okay, so anyways, that's all I got to say in this episode. I'm just going to take a moment to give a shout out to people who have retweeted my video on Twitter. So I'm going to give a big shout out to Blue School G, and also Evil Twin, Straight Edge AJM, MC Firestriker, the TF Nerd, and Nick Leon. Thank you for retweeting my videos. I really appreciate that. Thank you for all your support. And that's all I got to say in this video. Now, if you have your very own theories that you want to share about what you see in this poster, let me know in the comment section below. What I'll do is that I'll read through all the comments, and if there are a couple of theories that I think are really quite plausible, I will mention them in the next video and give you a little bit of a theory shout out, okay? I'll pick 3, okay? And I'll comment on them as well. Anyways, that's all I got to say in this episode. Now, the last thing I want to do is I actually want to open up this package from Nick Leon, who I actually gave a shout out to. This package was sent to me a couple of weeks ago, and I'm actually taking the time to open it right now. And I really appreciate this, Nick. It's going to be a big surprise when I open it, and let's see what you got for me. It's kind of tough to open this. It's shut pretty tight here. Woo! Oh man, okay, I guess I'll have to rip that and see what we got. Oh, wow! Bunch of photos. Holy cow! A lot of photos, and there's a typed letter. I'll read this typed letter on my own time. It's actually quite long. But wow, he sent me a lot of photos, and wow! Okay, I'll show you what we got here. These are photos of... It looks like during the time they were filming Transformers Age of Extinction, there are photos of the Bugatti. That's Drift. Is this I'm not sure where this took place, but I will read the letter and then we'll find out. This is actually one of the vehicles that they drove in Transformers Dark of the Moon. I'm not sure, is that Lockdown? Is that Lockdown? Looks like a convertible. There's Drift again. Let's take a look and see what else we got. Ooh, Cadillac. And there's a couple photos of Nick. And here is the Cadillac. Now, they used this, I believe they used this in The Island, the other Michael Bay film, right before he directed Transformers. Oh, Sideswipe. Hello. Wow, these are fantastic photos. More photos of Drift. Chicago. I'm not sure what that place is, but it's very significant. You see it in a lot of times, which they film in Chicago. There's that theater where they filmed in. I think that's in Age of Extinction. They filmed at that theater. Let's take a look here. Let's see what else is really interesting. Ooh, some damage. And oh, Western Star Optimus Prime. Pretty cool. Hey, Nick, I really appreciate all the... Oh, check this out. Some more damage. Hey, pretty cool. Thanks a lot, Nick. I really appreciate you sending me these photos. I will read all this on my own time. And once again, thank you so much for your little gift. I appreciate it. Anyways, that's all I gotta say in this episode. Once again, let me know your theories in the comment section below, and I will give a shout out to the top 3 theories in the next episode, in episode number 99. There's a lot more to talk about. We gotta talk about this set report, and I haven't even read what happened in the set report, so I'm gonna check it out, and then I'm gonna let you know my thoughts on that. And there's more stuff that we gotta talk about. I mean, we're just at the very, very beginning of this. They just put out the first piece of marketing, which is a trailer, and now the posters got us talking. There's a lot more to talk about, and that's why I want you guys to stay subscribed, and make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, like me on Facebook, The Ragin Nation, and also follow me on Twitter, Ragin Nation. Follow my Instagram at The Ragin Nation, and I'll see you next time. Peace. In some ways, it satisfies Megatron's needs, and also the greater good, which is stopping Optimus Prime from doing something even more evil.